Times like these call for more socially responsible organizations and citizens, and helping achieve just that is Make Sense. To talk about how they're upholding their mission during the time of COVID, we have Carlos Hechanova, Executive Director for Development at Makesense PH. Good afternoon, Carlos.
Good afternoon, Jess. Good to be here.
All right, so first things first, Make Sense is in the business of social entrepreneurship, but help us make sense of what is it that you do exactly here in the Philippines.
Sure, we're actually we're more than the business of social entrepreneurship. If we take a step back, Make Sense is a global organization, and our fundamental mission is to be able to let any actor in society take concrete action on the causes that matter to them. So this could be a social or environmental cause, and we partner with individual citizens, with their communities, with social entrepreneurs, with organizations in the private and public sector to make all of this happen. Now, to give you an example of that, at an individual level, so let's say that you are a person who wants to reduce the amount of plastic waste in your city. Well, we have a lot of programs and activities such as workshops, be able for you to coordinate communities of like-minded individuals on the topic, and to also communicate on your advocacy. And if you want to take it to another stage and launch a social startup to do that, then we also offer workshops to be able to do that. And we offer long-term incubation support as well. And we do for social startups. And we do all of this for free. And at the same time, for businesses and organizations and companies, we always try to get them involved in this ecosystem of innovation and social impact that's happening on the ground. And last year, we celebrated our global 10-year anniversary. And we're looking this year to be able to multiply our impact by 10 times more in the next decade, thanks to collective communities of action.
Okay, question now is, how long have you had your presence here in the Philippines? And in order for us to create that ecosystem, you need at least a good amount of membership here. What's the level of interest here, at least for the local branch or for the local initiative?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, Make Sense is a global organization that started actually in 2010 with our first office in Paris, in France. In the Philippines, we've been operating since 2015, and we're present in 9 cities across the Philippines from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And yeah.
A question now is, of course, we are in very interesting times here, Carlos. How have you adopted your initiatives in a COVID-19 world?
Right. So, like I mentioned, we tap into 3 different sectors of society, from citizens at the individual level to social entrepreneurs to businesses. And the situation for them has each been different. With citizens, we find that creating volunteer opportunities for them to take action, especially in this time where movement is really restricted, has been very key. So we have volunteer opportunities for people to be able to take concrete action on the ground, completely from the safety of their homes, all completely online. And having them spread also the news of these volunteer opportunities has been very impactful. Now, with social entrepreneurs and in our incubation program for social enterprises, we found that what's really important is a fundamental shift from a focus from day-to-day business to creating more communities of advocacy and action. Because we find that for the social enterprises, this has been keeping them afloat. The communities of advocates and communities of people who are helping them take action despite all of the restrictions of this quarantine. Now, with local organizations, it's really, again, connecting them to this ecosystem of innovation and social impact that is happening on the ground, that's being led by different NGOs and social enterprises, and so on.
For the enterprises that you have in your organization, what are the common sectors that they are involved in?
Sure. So right now we are working with our social enterprises. We're working on 3 key topics or key themes. The first one is going to be on the reduction of plastic waste. So this is solutions such as alternative packaging, alternative delivery systems, so refills and reuse systems. There's also solid waste management solutions. A second key topic that we're working on is healthcare. So that is telehealth solutions or telemedicine solutions. And of course, the last one is urban sustainability. So fire hazard prevention and disaster risk management.
Okay, given that, what programs do you have lined up for the year?
Sure. So I'll mention 2 main programs that we have lined up for this year. One of them, which I mentioned before, is a volunteer program called Reaction. So the idea for that is really for anyone to be able to take concrete action on the ground, completely from the safety of their homes, and by giving just 1 hour of their time each weekday. So we launched this last year in March. Once the quarantine conditions in Metro Manila hit, and we're relaunching it again in March this year on the topic of women empowerment for Women's Month. And again, it just requires small concrete actions from people online to be able to make a difference. So what this means, let's say in the month of March on the topic of women empowerment, is really to take, for example, information or graphics produced by NGOs or social enterprises on gender equality, and have people simply just share it in their personal and professional networks and start conversations on this and start changing mindsets and creating behavioral change. So again, this is the Reaction Program. It's a volunteer program for anyone to be able to get involved in social impact from the safety of their homes, which is a little bit of time in their weekday. We're launching it in March. And another program that we're going to do has to do with a health coalition that we initiated with the support of Sanofi Philippines. So basically, it's a health coalition where we took we formed multi-stakeholder partnerships, actors from different sectors, from health startups to community leaders of urban poor, of women, of youth communities, to private companies, to representatives from DOH, and so on. And we got them all together to be able to co-design solutions to help underprivileged communities better manage their health. So we did a series of collaborative workshops in 2020, and now that we're done with that, in 2021, we are gonna take concrete action on that, and we're gonna run a program that looks to empower young aspiring health professionals and medical students, medical graduates, and doctors to uplift their careers, to get more, to build their careers through helping underprivileged communities manage their health.
Okay, definitely you have a lot of things lined up for the year. Here's to hoping that everything will pan out well for Makesense Philippines. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Carlos Sechenova, Executive Director for Development of Makesense PH.
Thank you, Jess.